All right, so it's astrology time. Shane here, daily-astrocat.com. Today is Sunday. It's the 25th of January. So what do we got going on here? We got our moon void of course in Aries, all right? Now, it went void of course yesterday, right? It's not going to enter Taurus until 1:05 p.m. today, okay? Got a lot of stuff going on. So let's talk about this astrologically, okay? If you must cook during this void of course period, and she's going to be void of course until 1:05 p.m., I suggest sticking with a familiar recipe, okay? Now, Carrie made a sour cream cinnamon sugar coffee cake last night to contribute to a bit of our snow day decadence. Yeah, so I still intend to make cookies, but I'm going to do so after 1:05 p.m., after the moon is actually in Taurus, okay? Now, the store where Carrie works is actually going to close at 2 o'clock because we're expecting snow up here, right? 12 to 15 inches, somewhere around there. You know, that's a lot of snow. That's not too bad. Folks are playing it cautious now. They're not being too cavalier about snow totals or anything like that. So, and it's just been bitter cold outside, so... At some point on Saturday, somebody up near the Williston area of Vermont sent their dash. It sent a picture of their dash in, and it was minus 14 degrees there. That's pretty chilly. It was a whopping 12 degrees here when that picture was sent. So, it tells you what we're in the middle of, right? Now, I hope you all get some reprieve of that's work related as well, okay? Because normally grocery stores will stay open the whole time, but her store's not, okay? They're going to close at 2 o'clock, so and they'll probably be open on Monday, but we'll see, okay? I mean, usually they don't close for any amount of time like that. They close during the teeth of the storm because they don't want people traveling in the middle of that, because it can get pretty hard to see, especially if the winds pick up and stuff like that. You get whiteout conditions, and that's just inherently dangerous, okay? So I lit my candles over there, and I wished you all goodwill, and we're starting to come into a new season, and this new season is going to be very important, okay? It's midwinter right now, so we can start to feel like that corner starting to be turned, even though, we have a major snowstorm coming, and it's not going to stop, right? We'll have more snow and stuff like that. It's not like spring's right around the corner or anything like that, but what is right around the corner is Neptune entering Aries, and that's going to happen tomorrow. So if you feel yourself ready to change, and like Trish said, turn the page, right? Running through your head, that's what it's referring to. This is what it's pointing to. So you're going to have an opportunity to really turn the page and get on with some new creativity and things like that are going to be really, really cool. So, tipping my hand all over the place, right? Look, the moon will enter practical Taurus at 1:05 p.m., okay? Now, maybe you're one of those folks that's not going to have to go to work on Monday, right? Because you're either off, or you were actually able to Friday arrange to work remotely so that you don't have to be driving out in that day either, okay? Because most of up here in the Northeast, they're trying to keep us off the roads, so that's a good thing to do, right? The good work that has been ongoing, the demonstrations, the protests and marches, it's going to be hard to sustain today. It was pretty hard to sustain yesterday, too, only because that cold, right? That cold and that. Yeah, don't put yourself in danger like that, okay? It's going to be difficult, but both astrologically and meteorologically, the weather and the astrology, because we've got a couple of squares, and the moon's square, first Mars, then Pluto, then Mercury, okay? Squares, those are difficult aspects, right? There's something there that it does not favor action, it does not favor revolution, and or does it favor the feelings or sentiments that's driving these protests, right? Stay safe, stay warm, make the cookies, okay? Have a cookie. Today's keyword is exactly that, cookies. And the color is snow on evergreen branches. Now, we get a brief reprieve from the world today. Honestly, it's almost like if you're in the middle of the storm, when you're looking outside, it's like a snow globe, okay? We can revel in the wonder of what is taking place from an objective viewpoint, right? yeah, it's out there. That's unless you lose your power or something like that, or, you get drawn into it. You get drawn out of that bubble and into the bubble, right? From outside to inside, right? So, like, even working, like, say, plowing snow, it's like an excursion into a fantasy world because it doesn't look the same, right? It's interesting, the snow dancing in headlights and stuff like that, and just the terrain being all one uniform color and things like that is very, very interesting. And that is like the excursion into a fantasy world. Funny you mentioned that, right, Shane, with Neptune starting to change. The familiar is barely recognizable. Are we going to enter that fantasy world tomorrow when Neptune goes into Aries? I think so. But we're going to do it from a creative standpoint. And that's where the difference lies. So we may have to have a whole separate show on just this. All right? The sun in Aquarius loves the intellectual detachment from the physical demands. This is good because we aren't emotionally invested in much else today. Okay? We're really not. The squares are just going to be like, meh, whatever, make cookies. Yeah, I'll make cookies. Or maybe you'll prepare to do what you got to do creatively, okay? There's another thought, right? Now, look, it's a good day for managing computer storage, right? Clean up your files, maybe clean up some things around the house, okay? It's not a great day for huge amounts of new progress on many projects, but you have that simmering idea in the back of your head that's going to be brought to life very, very soon. So the moon loves being in Taurus. While Taurus is practical and hardworking, those who are under the influence of the bull, say like your resident Tauruses, can also appreciate some much-needed extra rest. That's right. Today favors tradition, consistency, and a commitment to game management, both on the football field and at home. Allow all of the extra time if you have to be somewhere, okay? It won't be flashy or pretty, but commit to the process and stay within your game plan, whatever it is that you're going to do, right? Make sure you arrive home safely. And we are withdrawing temporarily for a reason. That's right, that reason I'm telling you. We need to disengage so we can re-engage at full force with Neptune in Aries, right? That creation point, that world creation point that we're going to be at, and just be like, oh, my imagination says we're doing this. Okay. Don't see this downtime as lost, okay? It would be easy to do. Instead, consider what direction you want to take creatively, artistically, and personally. This is the time of that incubation. Tomorrow, we will be turning an important corner. Turning that page, right, Trish? Yes, indeed. So, but you've been feeling this. Now you have to accept and know that this reality ends as a new period begins. I'm sure Evan knows that too. I'm sure Rebecca knows that too. I'm sure Beth even knows that too. So, hey guys, we got a lot going on here, right? Got quite an active community too of beautiful people. So, and I appreciate and love every single one of you. Leave me some comments. Leave comments on these videos. It's very, very important that we keep a conversation going. It's also important because it allows for more people to see what we're doing here, and be able to participate in these conversations as well. The channel keeps growing, thanks to everybody, and I'd like to see it sustained. So, like, save things, favor them, share them, do whatever you have to, okay? I really appreciate that. Our event is in 1858, Felix Mendelssohn's Wedding March from A Midsummer's Night Dream, right? There's a wedding march, there's a wedding scene in that, and the wedding march comes from that particular score, is first played at the wedding of Queen Victoria's daughter, Princess Victoria, and the Crown Prince of Prussia. First time. Now it's a tradition, right? Exactly. And in 1627, our birth is Robert Boyle. Now, Robert Boyle is an Anglo-Irish natural philosopher and chemist. Yeah, polymath material, right? Born in Linsmore in the Republic of Ireland, and he died in 1691. Friends with Christopher Wren, right? Okay, so Robert Boyle He's a natural philosopher, chemist, physicist, alchemist, and inventor. He is largely regarded today as the first modern chemist, okay? And therefore, one of the founders of modern chemistry and one of the pioneers of the modern experimental scientific method. Boy, that's a lot, right? He's best known for Boyle's law, which still exists today, which describes the inversely proportional relationship between the absolute pressure and volume of a gas if the temperature is kept constant within a closed system. Think of a car radiator. And that is all I have for you. Let's sum this up, okay? We have, this color is snow on evergreen branches, and today's keyword is cookies. Make some, have some. And that is all I have for you. Today is a 4. Happy astrocatting.